Every year, we get new influencers that pop up out of nowhere that fans find a liking to. As of recent, most of you would know Bobbi Althoff. Bobbi Althoff has been called America's answer to Amelia de Moldenberg. She does odd, uncomfortable, and disarming interviews with rappers for her podcast, The Really Good Podcast, and she has a sizable following on social media. What is interesting is that she appeared out of nowhere, and one of her first podcasts was a Drake interview. Clips of their podcast went crazy viral, and everything seemed to be going well, until she deleted their episode and the pair unfollowed each other from social media. But what was the reason for doing so? Make sure to stick around till the end for the full details. Why would a celebrity interviewer choose to remove an interview with one of the most well-known people in the world? Fans have several theories, one of which is that Bobby and Drake are no longer on speaking terms. A 26-year-old podcaster and YouTuber, Bobbi Althoff, rose to stardom on TikTok. He's married to Corey Althoff, a tech executive and producer, and they have 2 children together. It is believed that they reside in California. As a momfluencer on TikTok, Bobbi initially rose to prominence while expecting her first child. She has 2 daughters, whom she refers to on her program as Richard and Concrete, and she frequently shares parenting advice on TikTok, where she has amassed a following of now over 6 million. Bobbi originally rose to fame by releasing a TikTok video of her dancing with a banana, which proves that the internet never ceases to amaze us. More than 2 million people watched it. She then began offering advice for new parents and talking about her experiences raising Richard and Concrete. It rapidly changed to become more of a personality-driven account, and many of her followers began to like her peculiar sense of humor. She also said in February of this year that she had already recorded the first episode of her podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell. This way you'll never miss out on any future celebrity videos similar to these. Influencers are increasingly filming their interviews and posting them on YouTube. Despite the fact that podcasts are audio-based media, they may simultaneously grow their audiences across all channels in this way. As a result, Bobbi was able to swiftly amass an excellent roster of guests and effortlessly convert many of her TikTok fans to her podcast and YouTube channel. She has spoken with people like Mark Cuban, Tyga, and Lil Yachty. The Joe Rogan Experience, the undisputed king of the genre, is presently ahead of The Really Good Podcast at number 2 in the podcast rankings, which is insane how fast it has grown considering she started just a few months back. Naturally, fans went wild when word got out that Bobbi had managed to get Drake on her show. She was able to record the interview in Drake's bed while he sipped a martini. Despite the fact that the program barely premiered in February, it was obvious from a few preview snippets that this was a discussion that people would want to follow. After DMing the Grammy winner and asking if he was down for coming on the show, something Amelia de Moldenberg had tried herself numerous times, he obliged. For those of you that may not have seen the podcast between the pair and wonder why it went so viral, check out some of these awkward clips.
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you.
I'd do it.
You do it? I asked, am I your type? And you said I'd do it. It's not funny.
Does your shirt say African Canadian?
What do you mean?
African Canadian what? Heritage Association.
It was a gift.
From who?
My friend.
What's their name?
Ashley.
That clip alone has over 38 million views. Just from that 30-second clip, you can see why it originally went so far, as it's awkward but watchable because of the humor involved in the podcast. Fans loved it, with many posts like, "I never liked Drake more than I do after watching this. Drake was so out of pocket this podcast, I was dying the entire time. The way she makes everything so awkward on purpose is so funny sometimes. Brew." The two talk about other rappers, the meanings of their names, whether Drake would ever want to get married, and online lingo. In the now-deleted episode, the couple has been accused of flirting by many on social media, and while the initial video had millions of views, it has since been taken down. Additionally, they both unfollowed one another on Instagram, which has undoubtedly raised suspicion. Drake hasn't released any formal statements on their reported dispute, but Bobbi has since made an appearance on the US YouTube channel BFFs and talked about the event. She stated, "He's really kind of awkward. But me as another awkward person, it's like I walked into his house and he didn't even say hi to me. So I went to the bathroom and came out, and he's just sitting there with his 2 assistants and isn't even acknowledging that I'm in the room. Then I'm sitting there on my phone and he comes up and says, "Oh, hi," and then goes back to his phone, and I was like, dude, I don't even want to do this. And my friend said lean into it and call it out in the interview. So then during the interview, I was able to be like, "Why did you do that?" She continued by saying that she didn't really have a social strategy with the podcast and that Drake and his crew chose the social teaser video for Instagram. You may see how awkward the interview was if you were able to locate any of the available interview footage. Before we go further into the video, do you feel this entire situation is a publicity stunt? Or did something happen behind the scenes that led to the failing of their relationship? Comment below. When asked about how she even managed to get Drake on her podcast, Bobbi stated, "I decided to just go for it and shoot my shot. I DM'd Drake and asked if he wanted to be on my podcast, and he said yes. He sent me his touring schedule, and I knew that I needed to make it happen fast. So my friend and I flew to Memphis 2 days after the original DM was sent to record the episode. It's obvious that something happened after the video was released, but what's more perplexing is the fact that Bobbi still has a video of herself looking rather bored at a Drake concert posted on her Instagram profile, where the majority of fans are commenting stuff like, "I'm dying to know why she deleted his podcast and unfollowed him. She really fumbled Drake's friendship. He invited her to his concert and then she posts this, acting bored and uncomfortable at his concert. That's why he unfollowed you. It's disrespectful. The awkward white girl role isn't funny, it's cringe. Stop it." So, this is comedy now. A bland white girl that doesn't know anything and is completely void of a personality. Evidently, she's been receiving a lot of backlash since the whole unfollowing incident, and it was also alleged she hooked up with Drake by BFF host Dave Portnoy, which, considering she's married, wouldn't go down well.
We finally have an update about the Bobbi Althoff and Drake podcast situation from Bobbi herself. She broke to Instagram and said, "I did not want to do this podcast in the first place, and now so much negativity is coming from it. I'm going to leave it alone after this, but this is the uncensored DM between Dave and I," where Dave said that his girlfriend thinks she hooked up with Drake and then got divorced. She then responds saying that's not true.
It's hard to tell whether she's still playing the character or not, as the fact she stated she didn't want to even do the podcast in the first place is quite suspicious, considering it's Drake. And for her career, it's easily the most lucrative opportunity she's been given and capitalized on. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to Loaf for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.